Okay, so I assume everybody can hear me correctly and clean. So let's talk about DevOps. Like a lot of buzzword going around, and specifically whenever I write any article in about DevOps in LinkedIn, I get a lot of different kind of question. People ask, okay, because there are a lot of noise out there about DevOps, what it is, and if you go Google somewhere, usually if someone is not from a tech background, for them it is an uphill battle to understand what the hell is DevOps, because the moment you search for DevOps, you get across like at least 20 tools and technologies, and that is sometimes overwhelming. So I will take you through the step-by-step process of what is DevOps. Before actually even becoming a DevOps, you need to know what it is. So if I go to the next slide, so basically DevOps, the prime driver of DevOps in the market is principally two things. One is the dramatic change in software development process, which is happening, I will say, over a decade right now. And second is that cloud migration. Cloud migration is the, I will say, big bullet is going on, and is basically going to change everything, which is changing. So these are the prime factor for why there is so much buzz around DevOps, why people are paying premium dollar to DevOps, and that we will figure how, why organizations are paying to premium dollar. And from a standpoint of a business, why a businessman will pay a resource higher value, because he or she knows that that particular person will either dramatically reduce my cost or bring up my revenue. Or I hire a salesperson, they expect this person will bring more and more sales, so my revenue will go up. So I will pay a little bit more to this person. Or I will bring someone else who can reduce my cost so low, overall operating margin increases. It is just simple. It is simple. Even if you're a grocery store owner, you know this is, you have to reduce the cost, increase the revenue. And DevOps actually fits into the place where it reduces cost of operation dramatically. And we will see how it is. If you go to the next slide, so I will touch upon the first side of it, which is dramatic change in software development lifecycle. So what is software development lifecycle? If someone is actually coming from completely non-IT background, actually I will go through that one section we have where we highlight how many non-tech people we have transformed into technology. So if you're not coming from software development, you don't know what it is. So in any software design or any project planning, you always have a plan analysis phase where you basically gather the requirement, and then you have like a design development, which is the developer write the code. Or in if I give an example of a house construction, so architects come and they design the layout of the house, right? And then you hire basically construction workers or engineers. They will come and build the house for you. And then you have some inspector, they come to the house and make sure electricity, everything's fine. And then you basically implementation and do basically live there. So this cycle keeps on and on. So if I go, so you will say, okay, why you're telling me about this? So if you go to the slide, so when I'm talking about software development, there are principally two approaches of doing it. One is called waterfall model, and which is newer method, which is called agile based model. In waterfall model, basically you go through this phase, and once you have designed the home, there is only little you can change. Assume you made a house, and the way you design the house is basically you made a mansion, maybe 4-bedroom house, and suddenly you realize, no, I need not 4-bedroom, I need a 5-bedroom house. But it takes a lot of time to build the house, probably 1 year. And after 1 year, if you are saying, hey, can you change me quickly? The person will say, no, we cannot change it. We have the way we have made our basement, it cannot support the 4 bedroom. So that is a big disaster for any project, right? If I'm talking about software development. But what if I give you a project when I say, okay, what I'll do, I'll dig a hole a little bit and I'll make my 1 bedroom. And then I'll see how the bedroom looks like. I'll live there for and if I feel good, then I'll add another bedroom. And then again, if I feel good, I'll keep adding another bedroom. As long as I have land, I will keep adding bedroom, washroom, whatever you want. So this philosophy or this methodology is called agile development. Agile development means you do iterative cycle. You do something, you put to the customer, test it and come back, test it, come back. This is a feedback loop going on. And this, what it happens is that it brings extremely fast delivery. But here is a catch. Not everything comes for free, right? So when I'm talking about this type of model, before you need to hire a construction worker once in a year, right? You hire the construction worker and they build the house and leave. But right now, if you are actually looking to build your room every pretty much next day, you need to hire construction worker pretty much every day, right? So imagine how much will the cost of it, because if you want features, you have to pay the cost. And what happens is that, what if I tell you the construction worker that you'll hire to build these small bedrooms, these are all robots, not robots in say some kind of automation, so that to build the whole house you may be hiring say 10 construction workers, but with this kind of approach, even with so much iteration, you may be just hiring one construction worker, and who knows how to use that machine to build the different bedrooms. And then what happens is that probably you will get your house built before time. You may not have to wait for a whole year. You may be done in 6 months. And what? How much you cost you save? You don't have to pay in salary for 9 construction worker. And instead of that, what you did, you hire one construction worker with a special skill. It is not a regular one who is just hammering the nails. It is a special construction worker. He knew how to use a very magic machine, and which can do all this magical thing and very quickly. So boom, before 10 construction worker used to take say 1 month to do something, this person comes in a fancy machine, he can finish the whole thing in 1 week. So in terms of cost saving, if I just put a whole basic calculation, 10 workers working for 1 year and I have one worker working say 3 months, imagine the cost. It's like almost 90% cost saving. When I have a 90% cost, I wouldn't mind paying a little bit extra to this special worker, right? Of course, I will happy to pay even double. Even if I pay him the double, him or her, the double salary, I'm still massive cost. So that is what it is. And you will say, hey, why do I need to do that, Agile? Because the market is changing. You need every year, you need new iPhone. Like similar way, customer behavior has changed dramatically. Now we need things very fast, quickly. So old style of software development cannot facilitate those changes. For example, like this COVID, it was a shock to the economy. What happens if you see many retailer, they boom, within 1 day or 2 days, they came up with their option in an e-commerce platform showing that they can support curbside pickup. Guess what? How it is made possible with agile development. Quickly, they had some feature out the feature, and boom, it is on production. And when you do these kind of agile development, you need a special skill. And we'll go to if you go to the next slide, we'll coming to the skill before doing that. So in a typical software development company looks like this. You have a software developer, you have a QA tester, you have a project manager, you have product manager, and DevOps engineer. You will say, why we call it a software development? Why don't we just call like so many names? The goal is that the goal of the whole team is to build a software development. When I say I'm hiring a construction team, I'm not only hiring construction worker, I'm hiring project manager, hiring electrician, I'm hiring some different people. So this makes a situation like you have so you need to have a development team which has these pretty much these kind of I will say resources you need. So typical team looks like software development, QA tester, project manager, product owner, and DevOps engineer. If you go to the next one, so traditionally, software development team used to work in a very silo. So each team you see, they have their own boxes like software development, QA, and operation. They are working in a different team, even though they have a common goal, but often the case they do not achieve their common objective for simple reason, because they are working in their own team. They have their own philosophy. And to give you a perspective, right? If you are an inspector of a house, right? Would you any house which is buggy, will you pass any house electrical inspection where the wires are hanging, naked wires are hanging, right? That is a disaster. So for a construction worker, say, hey, just move it, bring people to so that they can live and so that I can get paid, or maybe I go to the move to the next project. But quality assurance will never allow that. And that is what the job of a quality assurance. If a software developer writes a code, and what they do, they try to pass quality assurance. If it doesn't match the criteria, they will fail it. And what happens is it will not go to the production, because if something is bad, which is not good for the consumer ready, what will be the impact on consumer? Assume Facebook updates a feature in their website and it doesn't work. How bad it will be for their customers? Similar to Amazon.com. If they are doing something, they put a new feature. If it doesn't work, it will be so disappointing, and probably they will lose some kind of sale. And last thing, the operation team, They do not want to put any garbage code in the production, because why? If you put a bad code, assume if amazon.com website is down, how disastrous it is. Okay, there is a bug, one button doesn't work, it is okay, it has some cost, but a whole website is down, is a disaster. So it means there's a massive cost loss, right? So because operation team manages all these websites and everything, they don't want any garbage code to go there which can break the whole. They want to ensure there is a sanity in the code. They want to ensure that everything is up to the expectation, that it doesn't break anything. So that is why you need different kind of checks. If you go to the next slide, so the modern development team, they who implement agile philosophy, now they have to use these kind of things, because remember, if you do the old style approach, you can actually live with that approach, like three boxes, everybody working in their own silo, they can take their own time. But when I'm talking about deploying change every week or every month, I cannot have the luxury to sitting on it. Like possibly I cannot have any manual intervention. I cannot wait a QA person. Basically, I send a code to them and they test it after 1 week, and after second week they're saying, oh, there is a bug, can you fix it? Then it goes on and on. It basically takes 3 to 4 months. But what if I tell you there is a way that the moment developer writes a code, it will automatically get tested against all test cases. And if they immediately, maybe within, maybe I'll say within hours, the developer will come to know there is a problem. He or she will fix immediately and push the change again, and they will do it in a very repetitive manner. And you can support new style of development, which is called test driven development. In that, you write the test case before you code, so it makes a very good efficient code which has less bugs. And because everything is QA passed, everything is fine, so operation team will have no problem deploying their code without any hesitation. So a software change which used to take 1 year or 3 months to deploy to, because of this new agile based philosophy, methodology, and DevOps principles, you're able to deploy within hours, in some cases minutes. So you can see how much man hours you saved. It is just mind boggling. So that amount of man hours saved. So this is the same thing about that construction guy example I gave you with a special machine, and that construction person special machine is the DevOps engineer. And that's what you are talking about. So if you go to the next slide, second aspect, cloud migration. Everybody's studying cloud. What is cloud? So let's talk about cloud. Like in a very, I'm not going to explain what is cloud here. It's pretty much, I will say, whole subject in itself. But I'll tell you why people are talking about cloud and why now, right now. So if you go to the next one, so pretty much what happens is that journey to cloud. So whenever people are talking about journey to cloud, basically what happens is any organization, if they're running their legacy hardware, legacy system, it is actually runs, they have a lot of problem. The software change, it takes a lot of time, and you are living in an old house, right? A older house, if you're living, any fixture you have to do, you have to possibly find, first of all, if you're living in a very like ancient home, like a Victorian home, specifically in Toronto, East Coast, those houses break pretty fast. Your furnace will break so quickly, or something, there is a leaking. And guess what? There is another caveat to that. All these houses were built 100 years ago. So to find very old person, or maybe not an old person in a way that age wise, very old at technology, or a person who knows very ancient technology, and then they will be able to use it and fix it. Guess what? Finding those people are extremely hard. Plus, doing any changes on the legacy system, it takes a lot of time. They will say, oh, hey, looks like your whole roof is gone. You have to change the whole roof, because these roofs, we don't make anymore. These roofs have been gone out of fashion for say 50 years. And we don't have any construction worker who knows how to fix it. So only solution is you have to get rid of the roof and get a new roof. And that is what I'm trying to differentiate between new and cloud. So if you are sitting on an old hardware, changing anything is extremely painful. You have to find specific resources with ancient skills, which are very hard to find. And last but not least, any change is an extremely costly affair. And guess what? If you go to a new house, like if I give you a condo, right? Nice condo in downtown with everything, lakeshore view and everything. Guess what? What you have to do? You have to just put your key, open your inside, boom, everything's ready. AC, furnace, all taken care of. So assume if I'm giving you option, Like assume you don't want to do too many of handy, assume you are not a handyman or woman, you don't like to fix everything, you want to live a peaceful comfortable life without any problem. You will not choose a very old house, you will choose to go to a brand new condo in this everything has been taken care of it, including cleaning, this furnace, everything. And what you do in terms of these your facilities, you pay them like a couple of $100 per month as a fee, and that thing is called SaaS, software as service. So basically the rental building is giving you all service, charging a fee. So what you're doing here is, right now you don't have to hire a plumber, you don't have to hire anybody, you don't have to hire pretty much anybody, you just have to pay a fixed amount of money to someone else, and it is their headache to do that. And plus, because they have built the whole building, massive building, so they will get hardware at very cheap, they will put the best possible furnace, they will put best possible heater, it will not break so fast, and if it does, they you before you know it. So I guess you are coming to a point where I'm going. Go to the next slide. So again, when you combine agile productivity and cloud migration, what you get, you reduce the red tape. You don't have to call a plumber anymore to fix it. You just call your office building person and they will fix it. Dramatic improvement in compute resource, fully automated development. So basically no more back and forth, email and here and there. You basically get the job done pretty quickly. Next one. So here is some example. I took it from AWS. Basically, it shows you a very simple. I just put a couple of servers here. The overall cost saving of a 3 years of IT, you can see is almost 600K. I put a very bare minimum things. And you can see the amount of saving that you get just moving. I'm not even talking about agile or anything like that. I'm just doing just whatever you just move from your house to a brand new condo. I'm telling you, you will save so much money because you will be paying every month. Or another option, what if I give you like a go to a, from a house to a rental house is actually very cheap because you just pay the rent, rest everything is taken care by landlord. So this is just, I want to give an analogy. Of course in technology terms it's extremely complex, it takes multi-year to do that one, but just want to make it a little bit simpler for everybody to understand. You go to the next one. So now once you go to the cloud, like same way, once you move to an apartment building, you know, nice condo, you get freedom. You get freedom from all a legacy software. I mean, all legacy appliances and everything gone. Legacy application gone. Delay in delivery is gone. You don't have to call the plumber, hey, my house's roof is leaking. You don't have to call them anymore. And what you do, there is no service outage. If it means suddenly your maybe most common, I see the furnace breaks down. In winter time, if your furnace is broken, you are dead, right? Pretty much in the cold. So those things will not happen because it is already taken care by someone else. If you go to the next one, and this is the result I'm talking about. I'm talking about the magic machine, right? Agile adoption, cloud migration, massive cost saving. And if someone operating cost was $100, now they will operate at $10. $90 is a pure cash saving that you have. And guess what? They may, because cost saving is coming from two sides. One is a reduced labor cost. You don't need like a 10 construction worker. Plus, you don't need so many ad hoc workers, right? So everywhere you see they are reducing their capacity or they're increasing their capacity while reducing the cost dramatically. And that is what we are talking about. The massive cost saving happens because of agile and cloud migration. And who enable all these things? It is the DevOps engineer. The heart of all this, I say, it is the very well orchestrated DevOps pipeline can achieve this every objective that you're saying. So that is I'm talking about. If you want to achieve this result for any organization, any business, any bank, any insurance company, top CIO right now, everybody's saying we have to implement agile based cloud migration. That's it. This is what is the mandate is coming from top, and they have to do it because cost saving is massive. And guess what? Right now we are in midst of a recession, right? Recession, people say, hey, I'm losing job, I'm doing here. It's very sad to hear about Shabab. So see, the thing is that because it is a very specific recession, right? Because of health crisis and everything. But you know what? There is a demand for DevOps has gone up a little bit because everybody's moving to IT. Now they realize they have to do digital transformation. They have to go to cloud. So that is why they need these resources. If you go to the next one. So here are some of the, I will say, legacy jobs at risk because of cloud migration, to be very honest. Because see, the moment you move from your house to a condo, you do not need any more plumber, you do not need any carpenter, you do not need anybody, right? You're just paying. So imagine a organization is moving from their on-prem system to a cloud. Guess what? They don't need system admin anymore. They may need what lesser number. DBAs, if you are putting your database into Amazon RDS or Azure or their managed services, you don't need DBAs anymore, right? DBA job is done by them. Instead, you pay some hourly fee, that's job done. Production support. Have you ever called a Gmail support person? Do they even exist? If any company is selling a SaaS service, usually production, their system is top notch and production support is very minimal because everything is automated. Usually, many cases you don't need. Of course, sometimes you need, but the size will reduce. Build engineer, we don't need them anymore. We are doing CI/CD with Jenkins, we don't need them. QA automation, you will need less people because the test harness, you can actually hook it up with your pipeline and boom, you're done. And legacy system like program analysts, these type of people, they are no longer needed. Reason is simple: if you do not have your on-prem system, you don't need them. Like if you don't live in a house, a lot of expenses are gone. So if you, all these are actually going away slow, sooner or later. If you go to the next one, so basically all these jobs will eventually transform to become as a DevOps engineer. And and this person, when I say a person with a to run a fancy machine, but guess what? It's not that easy that you take a pill and you become a DevOps. It doesn't like that. It means if you're replacing almost 5 to 6 people, it means you have to learn their trick, learn their skills. You have to be all rounder. Like if anybody plays any kind of game, like if you're playing football, soccer, you have a midfielder, right? Midfielder is an all-rounder. Sometimes he goes to the attack, sometimes he goes to defense. So you will become a midfielder of a football, or I will say all-rounder of a cricket game. So depending on what sports you follow. So DevOps person has to know everything. They have to know how to attack, they have to know how to defend. It means they have to know the whole stack. And what, with a newer approach, it means from a developer approach. Remember, the full form of DevOps is development operation. You are developing the operation of a software development pipeline. So it means you need to have both skills. You need to be develop a little bit. Again, I think in the second part of the webinar, Nicholas will explain what it entails to be. So I'm just touching base here. Okay, so if we go to the next one, so what kind of problem basically DevOps solves? So as I said, CI/CD. CI/CD is what? The complete orchestration of build pipeline. Infrastructure automation. You are completely automating. So basically, I'm talking about a DevOps person, I'm talking about you will be the janitor of that big building who does everything. Imagine you usually have one or two janitor for the whole building. So imagine how much is the cost saving for whoever is operating it in compared to if you're living in individual houses. For house you need a separate one. So basically, if you're doing that thing, you're doing infrastructure orchestration, you're managing a relationship with the development operation team, and you're actually documenting in an infrastructure as code way whenever something fails. Go to the next one. So there are multiple names in the market. Some will call site reliability engineer, DevOps engineer, and cloud engineer, cloud architect. These are different roles on that for DevOps. Next one. And yeah, must-have tools. So the must-have tools. So when I said, the magic machine I was talking about, unfortunately in DevOps world, there is no one machine. There is, if I wish there was one. A lot of people trying to do that, but it will never be like that. There will always be multiple players. So you need a lot of tools to learn, and that's not easy task. But again, it's not impossible, but at least some to start. If you just give up, oh, I cannot do this, it's not going to work. You have to push. So for example, Git is the paramount. Linux, whenever I'm talking about cloud, every cloud is running on Linux VMs. Ansible, if you are having something on cloud, if you don't know how to automate it, pretty much is useless, right? Then you need to learn configuration management using Ansible. And when Terraform, a lot of people say, hey, I know AWS, I know AWS certified, I do this, but believe me, that certification has no value till you do not know how to automate and orchestrate a cloud environment. Nobody's actually going to cloud because you can easily click here and there. Clicking system is already there in pretty much everywhere. The power of cloud is that API driven development. That how you achieve if you want to have complete infrastructure automation. Like if it is kind of I'll say, I give you a machine. If you press a button, it just makes a one room. That's it. It makes the house. If you want that kind of automation, you can achieve using Terraform on any cloud. That is what you have to learn. Kubernetes right now, without Docker Kubernetes, you cannot survive in the market. That is the number one orchestration engine for all container platform. Python is always good to have in your side because you never know which side your career will go. Today you are doing DevOps, maybe 3-4 years you say, oh, I want to be data engineer. Python is still there with you. If you tomorrow if something happens, you want to do something else, web development, again Python is there for you and is also help for your data for your data career as well. So Python is a very versatile language. And a lot of people think it is new. No, it is a very old language, more than 20 years old language. Jenkins. Jenkins is the janitor. Basically, it is the one who orchestrates everything. Grafana ELK pretty much, you need a monitoring system, right? You need to know when my first furnace is leaking, right? You need automatic, like in your house, you put those like carbon monoxide detector. So these things you need to put everywhere. That is what it. And last but not the least, which is the most important in fact of it. I know a lot of people know all these technology, but the only problem is that they have never done their whole life a project which does end to end everything. Because any system that I'm showing here by themselves, they cannot do anything, nothing. If you just know Ansible, if you don't know Linux, you are good for nothing. If you know AWS, you don't know Terraform, you don't know nothing. So in all these things, you have to know everything and you should know how to work with each other. You have to make sure that these works. So how will you do that? If you just learn one, it will not happen. You have to use all of it and do a project, serious project, which is a commercially project which someone can sell. I'm not talking about these hello world project. I have seen a lot of places like, see, everybody went through the final year is always a project year, right? And believe me, there is a reason behind the education system to ask you to do a which you will use all 4 years of experience. But most people, we do any kind of mock sample project and just to get our marks. But you know what, in real life, it doesn't cut it. If you haven't done any commercial grade product, which actually works and someone can pay for it, it means you haven't tasted the blood yet. And that is what brings you the internship kind of thing you should be looking for. You learn everything. Now what? See, you learn your driving car in a simulator. Now what? If you cannot drive the car in a highway, you are good for nothing, right? You just have a license for nothing. So that is the most important aspect of it. If you go to the next one. So next one, I want to show you a quick demo about, basically it will pretty much use everything, not everything, at least some of it. So basically we will be using Jenkins server right now, which is running under Docker, and we'll pull the code from GitHub, and using Terraform and Ansible, we will deploy a WordPress website with a containerized approach into AWS. And you will see, you may see, oh my God, I'm talking so many word kind of, I'm talking a lot of gibberish word, but guess what? Everything, it will take some time to build this whole thing. It actually, when I did, it took time to do it. But guess what? If I want to build a one WordPress website, and if you ask me to build 100 WordPress website, it will take me same amount of time. So basically building that pipeline is the construction worker building the magic machine, which can make the room. So what happens is that the analogy I gave you, you hire one construction worker with a machine or some kind of wizard, he or she does boom and your one bedroom is up. So basically, if someone is hiring a DevOps person, they are looking that you create that wizard, which will create like a one bedroom apartment on a flicker of an eye. So it may take a little bit time, and that is what they are paying. So let me show you, let me share my screen here. So I think everybody can see it. So this is basically my answer. This is my Ansible code I want to show you. But what I want to show here is this is called Jenkins server. So basically right now it's already, I've set up this Jenkins server, and basically So now what I need to do is, if I'm looking to build a WordPress website, so there are like a lot of Jenkins job I have for my other project. This is specifically I build on AWS for WordPress, just to as a sample thing. So what I need to do is, once I have set up my Jenkins pipeline using Ansible, Terraform, you can use any kind of technology. And all you need to do is you have to just press a button. So whenever you see, like you heard a lot of word, click deploy, one click deploy. When they're talking about one click deploy, they meant this, that you create an orchestration pipeline in that all heavy lifting has been done. So, I mean, coming back to the construction worker analogy, that magic construction worker made the wizard, and wizard, the moment he does this and he builds a new room, builds this room. Similar way, I set up and work whatever I have to do, use multiple technology. You can see so many technology we used. And what happened, what I did, I built that wizard, and this wizard can spin up WordPress website, anything, whatever it takes time. So you can actually track the progress of it, what is going right now. If I click here, see the output is giving me the IP address, what I got from AWS IP address. And I just go here and just press it. Now it's not up, of course it is saying, and I have to wait till it actually comes up. And meanwhile, let me quickly show you the whole architecture diagram, what we are doing. So let me quickly show you the architecture. Yes, this is the architecture. So this is what we are trying to do. We have a Jenkins server running, which is orchestration. And then you have I'm pulling the code. The orchestration code is actually sitting on GitHub. GitHub is a repository system. Then you pull the code, that code has Terraform code. The GitHub repository has Ansible code, and which creates the infrastructure in AWS. It basically creates a virtual machine. So if I go to my EC2 console here, and if I refresh it here, right? See, it just started running. And now if I go back to here, and if I refresh it, this one, see, my WordPress is up. How long it take? Maybe 2 minutes. And basically, of course, I can go and configure everything. So again, the WordPress website is just showcasing that how you can orchestrate and automate any kind of application. And this is a very simple application. And similar way, you can completely orchestrate a complete Hadoop platform, like Hadoop complete web platform. And there are many automations are there. You deploy end-to-end very complex application to do that. And guess what? This is why they are paying extra little bit money to the DevOps professional. So that's all for me from my side as far as the demo is concerned. And now Nicholas will take over. He will do other aspect of the DevOps. Like basically, this is what DevOps is. Now, how to become a DevOps? What I did so far, I explained what is DevOps and what it can do, what is its capability.